Even if you work out, you can't be healthy at every size.
You gotta be so good that they can't ignore you, especially the ones that ain't done shit for you. Yeah, you know exactly what I mean. They stab you in the back and then they ask why you're bleeding. I don't trust words, I trust actions. I don't care what you heard, I'm not slacking.
My name is Alan Roberts, and this is Every Damn Day Fitness. Like, subscribe, click the notification button over there. Share my videos, subscribe to my second channel, Alan Roberts. In my opinion, of course, it's linked below at the end. Thank you very much. So you cannot be healthy at every size, even if you work out, even if you can't. In the thumbnail of this video, there are 3 pictures of me at 3 different stages within the last 3 years, by the way. They're about 3.5 years. The middle picture is probably my biggest. Now, I am guessing, by the way, that I weigh about 260 to 265 pounds in this picture. I hadn't weighed myself in a long time, just to be very, very truthful. When I did weigh myself again, I had already started losing weight. I'd already started, focusing on getting my weight down. And that was about at 255 was the first measure I took. And then I really started setting goals when I hit like 245. But I was probably about 260 to 265 in this picture. I was eating about 5,000 calories a day. I was probably 35% body fat to 40% body fat. And I was stronger than I'd ever been in my entire life. I was squatting ass to grass, 575 pounds, regularly in the gym a couple times a week. I was considering powerlifting, getting on the platform. Military press, like overhead press with dumbbells, was the 125 pound dumbbells for sets of 10, rather easily. I ate about 5,000 calories a day. I really didn't measure it at the time, but it was a lot of fast food. It was a lot of junk food. I could sit down and eat 10 McDoubles at a sitting fairly easily. I still have a ferocious appetite. I'm from Pittsburgh, and we eat large portions here. We eat larger portions in America than the rest of the world, but Pittsburgh definitely has large portions, and we will literally put French fries on salads in where I grew up. So I was much too big. I had sleep apnea. That's when I first really started seeing signs. But I had sleep apnea. I had tons of joint pain, tons of inflammation. My arthritis in my right shoulder was constantly hurting me. My hands were getting so bad that I didn't deadlift all that much because I couldn't really hold the bar well. My grip strength was very, very, very bad. Pull-ups were not even a thing, even though I could do pull-ups. Like if I used like VersaGrips or wraps, I could do pull-ups at that size still fairly easily. I was entirely too big. I was entirely too big for my frame. Cardiovascular was not even a thing. Even though I would work out very intense for about 2 hours a day, I had very, very low stamina when it came up to moving my own body weight, going up steps. Now, mind you, I could still box jump about 42 inches. I was still very athletic. I had great explosive ability, but I definitely was not healthy. Definitely was not healthy. Now, in the picture, as you're looking at it on the far left, that is probably the leanest I've ever been in my adult life, and I was probably at 7 to 8% body fat there, and I weighed about 180 pounds. And I was fucking miserable. I was eating about 1,800 to 2,000 calories a day, lots and lots and lots of volume work, lots of volume training, my program, Every Damn Day Fitness Volume Training. I was very, very, very mentally and physically unhealthy, in my opinion. I was extremely food focused. I could not, I would eat, and then the next thing I would be doing is thinking about my next meal. I was very, very much fatigued all the time. I was so tired constantly. Naps were a huge thing where they aren't normally. I'm a lifelong insomniac, but naps were very, very easy. I got cold very, very easy. All the chronic signs of being in an extreme caloric deficit for a long period of time. And that is about 180 pounds. So that's probably 80 pounds somewhere in there lost from my heaviest ever. And that is within the course of a year, by the way. So I was that's about a third of my body mass was gone. Strength-wise, very, very, very weak. I probably could only box jump somewhere, just because I measure things by my athletic ability. I could probably only box jump somewhere around 36 to 40 inches. I had very low energy. I had no explosive capability. I couldn't even begin to tell you what my lifts were like because I didn't lift anything but volume, like very, very low weight, very, very high volume. I was extremely focused on a number on the scale, extremely, to the point where my wife hid the scale from me at one point in time, because I got into the mental aspect where I would weigh myself twice a day, and I know better. I would never have. I would get in front of it if one of my clients told me that, but I was not in a good place. And I was doing it to see how lean I could get and then be athletic and everything like that, but it was not a good place. It was not a good place. So shortly after we reached this point, this stage, which was right before the Athlete X convention, the Athlete X Live convention 2 years ago that I spoke at, right after that, we decided it was time to put some weight back on. So picture, that's where I'm floating right now. I weigh about anywhere from 200 to 212, 215 pounds. I could not tell you exactly what I weigh because honestly, I only step on the scale about once every 2 weeks to 4 weeks, just to kind of see and adjust. And I'd really just go kind of by the mirror, and I don't really care that much about the weight as long as I'm staying at a healthy weight. I don't let myself get too heavy. I don't let myself get too thin. So I do eat in a much more liberalized fashion. For instance, when I was in the middle picture, I was very, 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 very much just stuffed my face. I didn't even know how many calories I was at. I just wanted to make sure I packed myself full. In the very thin picture, the very lean picture, I would weigh out every fucking thing. I was very food focused. I like to the fucking gram. I knew exactly what I was fucking eating. And where now I have kind of a liberalized nutrition plan. I kind of eat a little bit between a certain calorie range that I try to stay in. And that range definitely moves up and down depending on my activity level, whether I have a lot of computer work to do for the businesses or whether I can get to the gym, 6 times that week. So it definitely goes in a kind of a wide range. And it's about a 400 to 500 calorie range that I give myself from one day to the next day. For instance, if I know I'm going to go out to dinner on Friday night with the wife, I probably am at the lower range of that window for a couple days beforehand, so I can really enjoy myself and possibly go even outside the range of what I would normally allow myself to do. But if you add the 3 days together, I land in that calorie range, is what I'm saying. The things about mental health. I hated how I looked when I was the biggest I was. I hated it. I loved how strong I was. That was good for me mentally, but I hated how my body looked. I absolutely hated it. I mean, I was obese, and that was playing with my head. It really, really was. And it was just not healthy. And the fucked up thing is that at the lowest I kind of liked how my body looked, but I hated how my face looked. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand looking in the mirror. I didn't recognize the person that was looking at me in the mirror, if that makes sense. I had never been that lean before, and I didn't like how, I remember thinking, I hated how the back of my neck felt, like the back of my neck even felt skinny, and I didn't like that at all. So I hated how my face looked. Now I am pretty much good. I don't really give a fuck. I feel very healthy. I feel very athletic. For my age, I'm 48 years old. I can move like most young guys can move. I don't have any chronic pain. And by the way, I did have chronic pain and fatigue, and my arthritis was killing me when I was super lean too, just like when I was super heavy. Right now, in kind of this middle healthier area, I find that I don't have any problems with my arthritis. Very, very rarely, when it's really, really cold sometimes, and that's one of the reasons why I'm moving to Florida. But I don't have as much issue now as when I did when I was either really, really heavy or really, really lean. So it's a matter of not having those types of physical pains. That also plays into the factor that I kind of have developed a positive association with not having a 6-pack, but also not having a keg. I kind of rock a 4-pack, and I'm good with that. I don't even really give a shit about that. And I really don't care how super strong I am, as long as I'm athletic and I feel good and I can get up and go for a walk if I want to, and I can, I could, do some jump work if I wanted to, or some ballistic training, or I could do those sorts of things. There's very little I can't do physically right now that I could do before. And either way, when I can do, I'm good at calisthenics right now, but I'm also good at jumping right now. I'm also good at weightlifting right now. I feel very well rounded when it comes to my physical attributes, but I also kind of like how I look. I like being a little bigger, a little thicker, but not obese. So I have found my middle ground, and that's my point by this video. Even now, I had to give up, even worrying about my physical aesthetics and my looks, because very frankly, I'm in the fitness business, and in the fitness business, a lot of times, if you don't have a 6-pack, you ain't shit. And I don't prescribe to that. I just absolutely don't. I think it should be more about your health, your mental and physical health, and your longevity. That's my opinion. I am trying to make sure that I take good care of my joints, that I take good care of my heart, that I take good care of my organs, that I take good care of my body, my knees, my shoulders, my hands, my feet, everything that I possibly could have arthritis in. I try to take good care of it and not beat it up Because I want to be 90 years old holding hands with my wife, watching the sun go down over the Gulf of Mexico. That's the ultimate goal. And I want to be able to take her out dancing that night. And I want to be able to go on a cruises. And I want to be able to be mobile at 90 years old. Those are my goals. I want to be able to dance with my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren, hopefully at their weddings if possible. But definitely my grandchildren at their weddings. I want to be that grandpa. I want to be the grandpa that everybody's like, God damn, he's got a lot of energy. That's my goals. And that to me is health. Health, to me, being healthy, mentally and physically, means you pay attention to your physical health to be healthy as long as you can. Because life is worth living, and you should try your very best to have the best life you can for as long as you can. And you can't do that when you're just letting yourself go and being way too big. And you can't do that either if you are watching every gram of every fucking thing you put in your fucking face and freaking out over ounces on the scale that you gain or lose. And that's just my 2 cents on the matter. My name's Alan Roberts. Hit me up on Instagram at Alan Roberts EDF. Hit me up on Twitter at Everyday Fit. I'm also on Facebook at Everyday Fitness. I'm on the internet at everydamndayfitness.net. God damn.